Hey neighbors, I'm Mac McCarty, bringing you another episode of the Rough and Tumble channel. Hope you've been enjoying these stories. I've got a lot of them. I was out there for about 3.5 decades, and then there are some other stories as well that are not oil field, but certainly would like to hear some of yours. It's a pleasure sharing these experiences that we have out there. Rather colorful life, and I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed it. This story is again a story with Killer I mentioned in a previous episode, and this particular time the Gulf, that's oil field terminology. You don't call it Gulf Oil Company, it's the Gulf. The Gulf. That's the way the oil field people say it. And we have our own language, you might say. And this electrician that worked for the Gulf had told us to meet him out on the Gulf Judge Lease up in the river bottoms. And there was a high road that they'd built up so you could drive down in there when the river was flooded and check things. Well, he told us where he wanted us to meet him, and it turns out you go down the high road a ways, and you get to this certain spot where you turn off down in the flat there in the bottom, but it was pasture land, cows out there, and we drove off down in there, and we were told to meet him at this little lake, more of a pond than a lake, and it was pasture all around the end where we were to meet. And you go down, I'd say 30-40 feet, and then it was all growed up hanging over the edges of the pasture land. And so you had thickness on down further in there. Old Killer noticed all these grasshoppers hopping around out there, and he said, let's catch some of these grasshoppers and feed them to the fish. So we'd catch those little grasshoppers, pull their wings off, and then we would throw them out there in the water, and they would just kick their legs and start swimming, and the little old fish would come up, and they'd just eat that grasshopper. Well, we were getting a kick out of that, and all of a sudden I caught this great big old grasshopper, big fella. Pulled his wings off, throwed him in the water, and he's kicking them legs, and them little fish couldn't get a hold of him. He was too big for him. And I said, surely there's one in there bigger than that, where he can eat that thing. And he just kept kicking, and we kept watching. And he just kicking, and and he moved on down to where it was all growed up on the edges. And all of a sudden, just all of a sudden, I'd never seen anything like this. Right off the bank came this black arrow. It's like somebody shot it. Just a straight black arrow coming right across that water. Never made a sound, never made a ripple. And when it got to that grasshopper here, that big white cotton mouth opened up, down it went, and only made a few little rings. As smooth as it could be. That dude right there couldn't have been any smoother. He engulfed that grasshopper and was gone, and chills ran up and down our spines. Folks, we had been in so many swamps. We've waded swamps, putting up power lines, tending to the business out there of the oil field when you do electrical work, and I'd never seen a cottonmouth do that. I didn't know that they could do that, catapult themselves. There was no this. It was straight as an arrow right across to that grasshopper. And I'd say it was probably at least 12 feet off the bank, maybe 15. Never a wiggle or anything, and just as quiet as a mouse. And I thought, man, we could have been bit. And wouldn't even ever known it was coming. That was totally proficient. So that was something new that day, something we learned about cottonmouths and just how efficient they are. They can shoot themselves off the bank just like an arrow and do their job. So we learned something that day, and I tell you what, it kind of made us somewhat uneasy in the future there when we had to wade out in swamps and stuff. We realized what we were up against, more of what we were up against. But we saw a lot of things, enjoyed a lot of things, and I hope you enjoyed this story. I'd appreciate a like and subscribe if you'd like. No, not pushing, just it's part of what goes on here. I got someone that helps me to get these things ready, and apparently this is what you do for YouTube. But anyway, I'm just glad you listened in. Hope you'll share, and until next time, I'm Mac McCarty saying so long for the Rough and Tumble channel.